I maintained the learning environment for students. That was done by continuing with our school day. I addressed the Miss Tate's class individually, and I had the other teachers do the same. I didn't feel like we needed to stop school and have an assembly regarding. I didn't feel like I needed to um, close school for the day. I maintained that learning environment, which is really important to continue with learning. I made sure that there was open communication and the students felt heard and valued to make sure that they felt that they were not being attacked in this situation. That's doing what is best for students, because I'm approachable. I want them to know that I am not here only for staff members and to protect them. I'm here for the students. I want them to feel comfortable sharing information with me without being afraid of getting in trouble. I also want them to know that if they have concerns with teachers or their learning environment or their expectations for success, that they can come to me, and it's important that they do so that we can develop a plan to help them be successful. What can I do to assist them? What can I do to assist that teacher as well? I don't want students to feel stressed or feel overwhelmed. If they do, I want to be able to help them or provide them with resources, like our school counselor, where they can appropriately discuss their problems and express their frustrations, so that this isn't the type of situation where they feel like they could be heard. I also want my teachers to feel supported, so that if you have a supportive teacher, we know that students will feel like the teachers want to be there, and they will feel a difference in the school culture and the learning environment. I found this quote by Bill Gates that really spoke volumes. Students deserve great teachers, and teachers deserve the support they need to become great. So in order to support students, we need to support teachers. By taking that immediate reaction to Ms. Tate's phone call and resolving this situation, I hope that she feels supported and valued. I also hope that the other staff members feel that I would do the same for them come a similar situation. By giving her resources to help with resolving the situation and making her feel safe, she knows that I do care about her well-being, and I'm not just sweeping this under the rug. I'm taking it very seriously, and I am concerned for her as well. I also saw this as a really good learning opportunity and an opportunity for our school and our district to grow and adapt different policies. It's important that we are giving students an appropriate curriculum to provide them with the education on internet safety and appropriate use of social media and the risks that they have, how these factors or how these decisions could factor into their future. It's important that our policies also protect our staff members and our students in their privacy. This does what's best for students by providing them with a school environment that is supportive and they feel valued and heard, and that they are the priority of at the school. When I reflect back on how I handled this situation, or how I would have handled this situation, my immediate thought to reading the case was, I'm concerned for the teacher who's feeling bullied, and I'm also concerned for the students who are feeling these strong emotions toward one of my staff members, a person that they should trust and they should be able to also express concerns with me and with that teacher. I did not feel that an immediate threat was at large, but Ms. Tate did. So it was important that I then took that as a priority and I did not want her to feel that I was downplaying her feelings and her emotions on the situation at all. So it was important that I made her feel safe and secure immediately, and that I immediately took action in the matter to resolve the situation. I was also feeling concerned with the students who are misusing that technology and feel that this is an appropriate way to express their feelings on a teacher, that they aren't seeing what's wrong with cyberbullying, or they're not seeing the risks that go hand in hand with this. I want them to have that safe learning environment, but I also want them to make good choices. This is not a good choice. This will affect your future. There will be consequences for this. You may not think that anyone's going to take this seriously. You may think that this is just a silly prank, but there will be serious consequences if you're violating policies and violating laws and you're not even realizing it. So it's crucial that I am an advocate for them and for the safety of internet, of them using the internet safely, and educating them on, you can't do this. This is not okay. This is not how you handle your emotions. I want to give you those resources to appropriately handle emotions, and this is not it. And I need them to know that I'm concerned with the fact that they think this is okay. I also was thinking about how much I value my staff members and my students. I need, excuse me, I need everyone in this situation to feel important and to feel that they are a priority and a concern for me and administrators and teachers and students and parents. I am concerned with them for their security, for their education, for Miss Tate's safety. I want them to feel supported and heard. I want parents to be able to call and say, what's going on? Can you fill me in on this situation? I want staff members to say, well, what if this were me? Would you handle it the same way? I want students to be open about any sort of cyberbullying that they're experiencing or any sort of emotions in their learning environment that they're experiencing. I need all members of our school to feel valued. And it's important that my approach to the situation was considering all of their feelings and emotions and perspectives. We, as a school, need to have common goals ethically and common values. We need to support each other, and it's important that while handling this situation, I kept that in mind, that we're all on the same team. It's not students versus staff members. It's not principal versus students. It's not principal versus parents or anything like that. We're a common team with common goals. We need to resolve this from all angles. I was also thinking about a lot about the education of our students and the severity of this case. Like I was saying before, that they thought maybe this was a silly thing that they could do, and how can I approach the curriculum in which we use to teach internet safety and make it better and fill the gaps that are clearly there because students are still making choices like this. How can I, as the administrator, advocate for an effective curriculum and help students with internet safety and using the internet appropriately and its consequences and risks? The unresolved issues would be, I still might not know who created this page or who created this, who sent the email. We may not have access to that information, or we may not have a right to access that information depending on the laws and policies. And that student could still be out there unidentified, which would leave Miss Tate to feeling insecure and feeling unsafe still. I would need to approach her about arriving back at school and what we could do to support her in her teaching and help her to feel comfortable in her classroom again. Another unresolved issue is that students are not using internet appropriately, and we need to fill the gap in our curriculum. Another issue that could be unresolved after my plan of action is Miss Tate's learning environment. I do feel like that's a big factor that needs to be addressed after the surface issue, which is the email and the Facebook page, is resolved or comes to head. I do think that there's an underlying issue with her learning environment. How can I support her to, in turn, support her students? What can I do to give her those resources? Should we be on an improvement plan? Would she like more evaluation periods? Is there any more curricular resources or assistance that she could use in her classroom to ease the stress that she has, as well as make the students feel that she is there to support them and help them be successful as well. And of course, the policies and plans, along with the consequences that we have in our district, how can they be improved from this situation? What have we learned? What needs to be addressed or uh, more modernized? Is there policies that are outdated, that don't include social media, that don't include school email? What can we do to make this situation preventable, but also easier to handle in the future? With modern technology and the students at this school having the most modern technology, chances are situations like this are going to continue to occur. So how can we be proactive in that? I showed integrity in solving this case by being open in communicating with staff and students and parents. I didn't hide anything. There was no secrets. I was not handling a situation behind anyone's back. I also provided that open door policy to students. I made parents aware that we would be having these conversations, and took the approach to conversing with their student in an appropriate, lawful way. And I wanted students to be open to coming in and approaching me without me needing to do it to them. If I wanted them to know, if they have any information, please share it with me. There's no consequences for sharing information. I also supported Miss Tate and her students. I made sure that they were all heard in this situation. I supported Miss Tate throughout resolving this case. And at the end, I supported her students by helping Miss Tate and helping them in improving the classroom culture and learning environment. I showed fairness because I was not accusatory toward any student, even when Miss Tate had a student in mind that she felt was behind it. I had open-ended conversations and asked those open-ended questions with students, gave them the opportunity to freely share their information and also share their concerns that they have for Miss Tate and her teaching style and her learning environment that she puts out. I took immediate action to ensure that Miss Tate was safe, and that shows fairness because I was not I was not waiting until Monday morning to address the situation. It's fair to her, if she's feeling concerned, that I take action as well and don't say, sleep on it. I know you're feeling threatened, but we'll deal with it tomorrow. I provided her as well with resources. Not only was I providing students with an open door policy, but I was providing Miss Tate with the resources that could assist her among her absence. And it's fair to all students, whether you're involved in the situation or not, all staff members, whether this involves you and your students or your class, that I maintained the learning environment. They have a right to learn. They have a right to their education, and teachers have a right to teach. And by maintaining that learning environment, I was fair to all of our student body, not just those who were involved in the situation. I also showed ethical manner throughout solving this case by being honest. I wasn't lying. I wasn't hiding truth from any of the parties involved. Things were kept confidential when I felt appropriate. I used the lawful practices when conversing with students and did not unethically have conversations or intimidate students or interrogate them with questioning. And I reviewed the policies and contacted law enforcement and my administrators to make sure those policies were, I was approaching the situation that abided by the policies and protecting the rights of myself and the students and the staff members, and following those policies and laws that we have for handling situations like this.